Welcome back, everybody. Now today I don't have a review for you. I'm on the road, but I do have a question and answer. So let's get right to the first question. Brad Asked TV asked an interesting question. He says, do YouTubers get a list from somewhere on items they should review? For example, I often see the most random items being reviewed by different YouTubers and their videos released around the same time. That is a very good question. Now, what happens usually in that case is that a new item comes out or it's covered in some sort of media and then we all jump on it. For example, the Whiskey Wedge glass, that was in, I think, a BuzzFeed article. Me and a couple others did that around the same time. The windmill watermelon slicer, some AliExpress vendors were selling that. They were inundating social media with it, and we all jumped on it. I think 3 of us did it in the same week. Same with the waffle toaster from Nostalgia. So it's not like there's any kind of collusion. It's just a lot of times something comes out and we all get requests for it and we all do it at the same time. This person asks actually a pretty interesting question. It says, do you have any training or education that helps with your reviews, or is it just from experience? I was out with a group of friends one time and someone asked me what I did for my job, and I told them about this. And they said, what qualifies you to review products? What makes you an expert? My answer was nothing. Nothing qualifies me or makes me an expert, because these products are marketed to the most average people out there, and I consider myself an extremely average person. So the fact that I'm the most average person I can think of makes me the most qualified to be a product reviewer. Max7230 asks, would you ever consider reviewing larger items like cars? I find that many car reviewers only ever focus on the specs, not the practicality of driving them. Some of you might know one of my very closest friends, Vegas Low Roller. He's been telling me for a long time that I should try to review something like cars, but it's something that I'm not really sure I'm cut out to do. There's a lot of car review channels out there. They seem like they're very knowledgeable in that subject. On the other hand, maybe from a layperson standpoint, it might be good. It's not something I've really thought much about, but maybe I'll reconsider the idea. This person asks, I apologize if this has been asked before, but what product would you like to create yourself? I've actually designed a couple products, one of them being a pillow that I think is completely unique. That's not anything like anything out there, but the problem is this is not my forte, so I'm not sure if it's ever going to get made. I would need someone to help me to make that a reality. I don't go to the East Coast very often, but when I do, I have to visit my dog here, Ripley. This is my East Coast dog. Now, Bailey might get a little bit jealous, but Ripley is a golden doodle, so she's half golden retriever, so she's kind of a distant relative of Bailey's, so hopefully Bailey doesn't mind too much, but I usually don't talk about this with Bailey when I get home. She's got some long legs, which means she can jump really far. Come on, let's go, come on. The leap. Ripley's got an Instagram. I'll link that below. This person asked, do you prefer doing kitchen gadget reviews, and if not, which kind of reviews do you prefer doing? Now, I do like doing kitchen gadget reviews, but the problem with those is that everybody in the comments, well, not everybody, but a lot of people in the comments are know-it-alls. They all have their way of doing it, and anything else from that is wrong. I've even seen professional chefs have people in the comments acting like they know it all. But I do like doing kitchen gadgets in general, but my favorite kind of review is when I can get outside and do something fun. This person asks, what is one product you didn't expect to use ever again that you use very often now? There's a lot of them, but I would say most recently the one that comes to mind is the silicone lids. They worked in my review, but I didn't think I was going to use them a lot. But I find myself using it as a microwave cover on a regular basis, and for my small cups when I'm sitting outside, I use it for my drink cups to keep bugs out of it. So it's something I've actually found to be much more useful than I thought I would. Before I get to more questions, I got a couple of announcements here. Again, if you're someone who likes short content, or if you're someone who hates short content but still watches it anyways, I do have a shorts channel that's pretty active, so I will link that as well below. And finally, I did recently activate channel membership, so if you want to be a member of this channel, I will also have a link below. That's very new. Only a few people sign up so far, so be the first to jump on the bandwagon for that. And speaking of members, I got a couple member questions right now. Member King Viseries asks, any plans for more duos with Mike Benson? Y'all are hilarious together. Mike Benson and I are very good friends, and he's been very busy lately though, so if you've noticed, he hasn't really put a lot of content. As soon as he slows down, I'm going to go out there, we're going to film some more content together, so hopefully that happens sooner than later. A member InCheck11 asks, do you attend many concerts? I've been seeing new versions of earplugs being advertised to wear to concerts, Eargasm Loop, etc. Would be cool if there was a way you could review these. Actually, I have reviewed some of those earplugs. I reviewed the Eargasms versus the Shark Tank Vibes. The Eargasms I thought were the best of the bunch, but the problem with those is you have to stick them way in your ears. The Vibes aren't quite as good, but they don't go as deeply inside, so it's kind of a trade-off. To me, I've been using the Vibes more than the Eargasms. And as far as your first question goes, I do attend about a concert every couple months. This person said, I heard you talk about Warner Robins once. Does that mean you're from Georgia? I lived in Warner Robins from 1st through 6th grade and never went back for over 40 years. I went back a couple years ago and it was much different, but I'll always have a special place in my heart for Georgia and the people who live there. Drifter was wondering, what do you do with all the drinks and foods you use in your product review? Do you use the products that you think you might be wanting in the next few days? Now, I hate wasting food. That's a big pet peeve of mine. So a lot of times when I plan these videos out, I do my best to try to eat everything that I make, although sometimes inevitably I can't always save everything. Some of the things I waste is something that I just can't save. Like for the example, the waffle toaster, that was all just messed up. I think one of the Star Wars waffles, I couldn't save that either. A lot of the egg products, I can't save those because it gets messed up, or I just make too many for one person. I think the egg cracker video I did at 4 in the afternoon, and I wasn't gonna eat 12 eggs at 4 in the afternoon. I do my best to eat as much as I can of what I review, but it doesn't always work out that way. This person says, your videos have a great chill vibe that I love no matter what you're discussing. Would you or your friends and family say you're that way in real life? I think most people that meet me in real life say I'm pretty much the guy that you see on camera, although me personally, I would say I'm 50% that guy. The other 50% is kind of a mix between me being really goofy all the time and telling a lot of dad jokes and being really grouchy when I'm tired, because I don't do tired very well. That's why I go to sleep ridiculously early. This person asks if I'm tech savvy and what kind of computer I use. How long have I used Vegas, and did I use it when it was Sony Vegas? Now, I used to be pretty tech savvy. I used to build my computers from scratch way back in the day. It was kind of a hobby back then, back in the 80s and 90s. I'm not sure if I lost interest in the hobby or if the hobby just changed, but I don't really do that anymore. I just buy computers. I have a Dell computer, a gaming computer now, which is pretty nice. I've used Vegas since it was Sony Vegas, I think version 11. I have Vegas Pro 17 that I use. I bought 18, it never worked for me, and they never really fixed it to the point I could use it, and they kept releasing new versions, so I bought a version I could never use. So, and at this point, I'm not upgrading again until I really have a need to, because I was really upset by the fact that version 18 never worked for me. This person said, I'd like to see a picture of you where you still had hair in your head. I always think of some curly hair. In high school, I was the guy with all the hair. I had long, blonde, curly hair. I'll show you a picture of that, and say what you will, but it was cool back in the day. So by the time I was in my early 30s, my hair had already gone back halfway back through my head, so I just said, forget it, get rid of it. And at this point, I wouldn't even have it back if I could. I don't miss it, it abandoned me. I prefer having no hair. It was not a style dictated by choice, but by genetics. This person and Ripley both want to know if I could make a deal with any of the sharks on Shark Tank, who would you choose and why? I'd probably go with Lori Greiner. She's done a lot of like kitchen and cleaning and bedroom type items, so she seems like she's more focused on the same kind of items that I am. This person wants to know if I can show what the Boneyard looks like and how many items do you have there that you've reviewed. Before I left town, I actually did film a quick clip of the Boneyard for this Q&A, so I'll show that right now. And as you see, it's mostly just a bunch of containers with numbers on them. I do have it all cataloged, and I think at last count there was about 600 items in there. And that's only about half of what I reviewed. The rest of them I either still use, I've given away, or they broke and I threw them away. The last two questions are kind of connected. One person asked, are you ever approached for paid promotions? And the other person said, how come you don't take sponsors? As far as the first question goes, I get dozens of emails a day about sponsorships, and I don't answer any of them because I don't take sponsorships. The reason for that is because I just want to offer an unbiased review. I did take one sponsorship many years ago, and even though I told the sponsor, I'm not going to accept this unless I've used the product and like it, viewers just still, they get a sense that that's not an unbiased review. To me, a paid review is a commercial, and people don't want to see a commercial, they want to see a review. So that's it. I'll be back in another couple of days with my next product review. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.